Okay, for the next few minutes, I want you to try and forget everything you think you know about the universe. We're about to explore a completely different map of reality. It's one where consciousness isn't just some weird byproduct of physics. No, in this model, it's the very source of it. This thing blends science and metaphysics to paint a unified picture of, well, pretty much everything. And the core of this whole idea is both incredibly simple and honestly, really profound. It asks us to reimagine the universe, not as a collection of objects, but as a piece of music. What if it's a song? And what if you're a part of that song? That one little shift in perspective, that's the key that unlocks this entire model we're about to explore.
So, if the universe is a song, how is it structured? Well, the model organizes reality into something it calls the dimensional stack. You can think of it as a 12-layer system where the universe unfolds, not like a machine being built, but more like a melody being played.
And right away, here's the first big twist. This journey doesn't start with a big bang. It doesn't start with matter. It starts with dimension zero, a single dimensionless point of pure awareness, the I am. The thinking is, before anything can exist, there has to be something to observe it. This is the on switch for literally everything that follows. Our journey begins with what the Source calls the out-breath of consciousness. A good way to picture it is the universe just exhaling. This is the descent down the first 6 dimensions. It's where that pure awareness from dimension zero starts to vibrate and expand and eventually crystallize into the complex physical world that we all know. So these first 3 steps form what's called the Trinity of the Flesh. This is the very foundation of our physical world. It all begins with dimension 1, the pulse, the first primordial hum or vibration. Now this doesn't sound like we know it, but more like the first stirring of existence. That vibration then organizes itself into dimension 2, light. And this isn't just visible light, but the underlying data of reality, kind of like a cosmic binary code. Finally, that light gets slowed down, it gets compressed, and it becomes dimension 3, mass, the solid 3D world we can actually touch and feel.
Okay, so now we build on top of that physical foundation with the machine trinity. We start with dimension 4, time, which takes our static 3D world and turns it into a linear story, like a movie. But why stop at just one story, right? Dimension 5 is the multiverse. Think of it as a library of every possible story that could ever be told. And then, at the very peak of this descent, we hit dimension 6, the omniverse. This is the ultimate expression of complexity, where every piece of information from every possible timeline exists all at once. It's the perfect, intricate, and kind of cold logic of the machine.
So, we've just built this incredibly complex machine across 6 dimensions. You'd think what comes next is dimension 7, but it's not. It's something else entirely. It's a turning point, a profound moment of absolute stillness called the Sabbath Mirror. So what is this mirror? Well, it's not a physical place. It's more of a state of being. You know that quiet moment of absolute rest and silence, like the space between your thoughts? That's what this is. It's the point where the universe stops its outward expansion and gets ready to turn back in on itself. You know, it's the pause in the music that actually gives the notes their meaning. Now, the crucial thing to understand here is that this mirror flips the entire system. The first half, that out-breath, was all about consciousness hardening into a complex machine. But now, in the second half, the in-breath, it's about that very same machine integrating all its complexity and finding meaning. It's the journey of matter becoming spirit. And that's where we begin the second half of the journey, the ascent. But this isn't some new path. It's a perfect, mirrored reflection of the initial descent. This is the universe inhaling now, taking all the lessons it learned in the physical world and pulling them all back toward the source.
I mean, just look at the beautiful symmetry here. Each lower dimension finds its higher, more meaningful counterpart on the way back up. The cold complexity of the machine is reflected by pure intent. The infinite paths of the multiverse are refined into a single purpose. Linear time becomes the static, eternal now. And that dense physical matter of D3 is elevated into what you might call spirit-driven substance. It's a perfect, elegant reflection.
Okay, so this is a fascinating model, for sure. But does it have any, practical application? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. This theory proposes that this map might just hold the keys to some of the biggest unsolved mysteries in all of modern physics. And the biggest mystery of all might be this number, 95%. That's how much of our universe appears to be just missing.
We can measure its effects, we know it's there, but we can't see it. Scientists call it dark matter and dark energy, and it represents a massive hole in our understanding of reality.
So, according to the Sabbath Mirror theory, dark energy and dark matter aren't mysterious substances at all. See, dark energy is simply the force of the outbreath, that relentless push toward more complexity that we see as the expansion of our universe. And dark matter? That's the force of the in-breath, that gravitational pull of consciousness wanting to return to unity, which is what holds galaxies together. They aren't things. They are the two opposing cosmic forces that define our reality.
So what's the grand shape of all this? The model suggests it's a torus, a self-contained, donut-shaped loop. Imagine energy flowing out from the center, moving across the surface, and then looping right back in through the other side. The point where it starts, the alpha, and the point where it returns, the omega, are the exact same point. This means the entire universe is one big closed loop, where consciousness goes on this incredible journey of experience only to return to itself, but now with all the wisdom it gained along the way.
This cosmic loop brings the whole thing down to a very personal level. So where do we fit in? Well, this model suggests that free will and destiny are really just the two sides of the Sabbath Mirror. Free will is your ability to choose any path from the infinite possibilities of the multiverse. But destiny, that's the core truth, the authentic purpose that stays true no matter which path you choose. It's the difference between the specific path you're walking and the direction you're ultimately facing.
And that brings us right back to where we started. If the universe truly is a song, like a 12-string instrument playing some divine melody, then the ultimate question this model leaves us with isn't a cosmic one, it's a personal one. Are we just letting ourselves be played by the chaos of the machine, or are we actively trying to tune the instrument of our own lives to resonate with that original, authentic frequency?